All right, today we're diving into a project where AI isn't just giving you market predictions, it's actually in the trenches trading the market for you. This is the wild story of UnifAI Network, or UAI, and the incredible tech that sent its price into the stratosphere. So let me just start with a really powerful question. Imagine an AI that doesn't just send you tips or alerts. No, imagine an AI that acts as your own personal, autonomous agent in the crazy, complex world of DeFi, working around the clock to execute entire strategies. Well, that's the exact problem UnifAI Network was created to solve. To really wrap our heads around what UnifAI is doing, we first need to get familiar with a new term they're pioneering, Agentic Finance. And believe me, it's a pretty fundamental shift in how we think about AI's role in the market.
Okay, think of it like this. A traditional financial advisor, they give you a plan. But an agentic financial system, it's like an advisor that not only gives you the plan, but also has the keys and the intelligence to execute it for you, adapting to the market in real time. That's the huge leap UnifAI is making, from just passive advice to active, autonomous execution right on the blockchain.
This chart really shows you the whole before and after picture. Those old school trading bots are so rigid. They run on simple if this, then not logic. And if a protocol they're using suddenly updates its code, the bot just breaks. But UnifAI's agents, they're totally different. They use what's called on-the-fly discovery to actually reason and interact with over 100 protocols dynamically. And you guide them with natural language. It's just a massive leap in sophistication.
And listen, this isn't just a cool idea in a white paper. This system is live, it's out in the wild, and it is handling serious money. UnifAI agents have already processed over $123 million in trading volume. That proves there's real-world adoption and that the tech is actually working at a pretty significant scale.
And all that real-world usage, well, that brings us to the next very exciting part of the story, the absolutely explosive price action that put UAI on everybody's radar. So let's break down exactly what happened. Just look at that number, 896%. That's the gain from its low point in November 2025 to its peak just 4 months later. We're talking about a nearly 10x return. I mean, a surge like that demands attention. So the obvious question is, what lit the fuse? It looks like the main catalyst was the March 17 listing on INDODAX, which is Indonesia's biggest crypto exchange. I mean, that opened the door to millions of new investors. And sure enough, just 2 days later, the price went parabolic, rocketing to a new all-time high over 60 cents. Since then, it's pulled back a bit to consolidate, which, is a totally normal and healthy market move after such a massive run. But here's the thing. A big price pump is one thing. The real question for any analyst is about the quality of that rally. So let's look behind the price chart at what the trading data was really telling us. Okay, here's a really crucial data point. At its peak, it had a 9.98% volume to market cap ratio. So, why does that matter? Well, for analysts, a high ratio like this is a huge sign of deep liquidity. It suggests the rally wasn't just driven by retail FOMO on low volume, but was actually backed by significant, maybe even institutional, capital.
And this quote, it just perfectly illustrates the narrative that was fueling all that interest. While the price was going nuts, the team was still heads down shipping product. This announcement about integrating with OpenClaw, it shows a real commitment to growing the ecosystem for developers, which is exactly what long-term investors want to see.
Speaking of the future, a project's roadmap is basically its promise to the market. So let's take a look at what UnifAI AI has cooking for the rest of 2026 and even further down the road.
The plan is definitely ambitious, and it builds on itself, which is smart. First, make the agent smarter. Then, expand their reach with more integrations. And of course, give users better analytics to see what's going on. But that last point, the Web 2 expansion, that's the real game changer. That's the long-term vision to bridge the gap and bring this agentic tech to traditional markets like stocks and Forex. Wow. But of course, with great ambition comes great risk. You know us. No analysis is complete without a really sober look at the challenges. So let's balance all that hype with the potential headwinds that UAI is facing.
This number right here, this is probably the single biggest risk factor to be aware of. Over 3/4 of the entire UI token supply has not even been released into the market yet. This creates what we call a supply overhang, and what that means is that future token unlocks could create massive selling pressure if demand doesn't keep pace.
Now, looking at how those tokens are allocated, we see big chunks for development and the ecosystem, which is great.
And crucially, that 15% for the team and advisors is locked on a 48-month vesting schedule. That is a common and, frankly, good strategy to align the team's incentives with the long-term health of the project, not just short-term price pumps.
So let's just bring the key risks into sharp focus. First, that supply overhang we just talked about. Second, this is an AI project, so its price is going to be super sensitive to the whims of the wider AI narrative. Third, there's a unique level of smart contract risk here. I mean, when you have autonomous agents building and executing complex trades on the fly, any bug or exploit could be catastrophic, spreading across multiple protocols automatically. And finally, there's the valuation gap. Its fully diluted valuation is over 4 times its current market cap. That tells you the market is already pricing in a ton of future success, which could limit the immediate upside.
And for all of you watching the charts, these are the key levels that traders are laser-focused on right now. The price is kind of trapped between a floor, or support, around 22 cents, and a ceiling, or resistance, near 25 cents. A strong break in either direction could be the signal for the market's next big move.
And really, that leaves us with the final massive question. UnifAI presents this absolutely compelling vision for a future of autonomous agentic finance. But at the same time, it faces some very real challenges, from market volatility to that huge future token supply. So will its technology be revolutionary enough to overcome those hurdles? Well, that is the billion-dollar question that the market is trying to figure out right now.